What's up, guys? We're back again. Wanted to make another video after a really interesting playtest game we had. And I was talking to a friend, local guy here in Chicago, about the whole concept that we're trying to talk about, which is core army lists versus supplemental decisions that you add to the army list. And we had a pretty long debate about is there even really a core, or do you just design a list as a list? So as we were talking, we designed kind of the idea that what if you had a core that you were really solid with, and then you had another army core that you were really solid with. Could you combine them?
Unite us. Unite the clans.
Would they work? How much do you lose? What aspects of the list do you lose? And that's kind of where we started to think. Like, well, obviously, if you don't go pure one thing anymore, you lose something, right? Like, you have to be all this to get that. And we were thinking, where does it make sense to consider what you lose, but also consider what you gain by making a different type of approach? One thing I wanted to look at was assault. Big fan of assault, and nobody does assault better than Blood Angels. I honestly think Sanguinary Guard are some of the best units right now in that codex, and I would consider Sanguinary Guard to be the core of a Blood Angels army. How much Sanguinary Guard do you have? That would be my question to you. I'm thinking about mixing a core with a core. I was considering, what does Blood Angels look like, and what can I mix them with? I don't think it's any secret to anyone that we're taking 3 units of Sanguinary Guard. 3 with blades, 2 with power fists, 5-man units, 3 of them. Auto include. They're amazing. Highly recommend taking them. If you haven't played with them, play with them. If you haven't played against them, play against them, because they're awesome. I also really think Infiltrators are a must-take in any Space Marine army. So even though we're playing Blood Angels, and I think Sanguinary Guard are a must-take Blood Angels unit, I do think Outriders and Infiltrators are also must-takes. And here's why. Outriders have reliable shooting and good, solid close combat. They're very, very fast, and that's kind of what I need in the game. I need speed. I need to get around my opponent. I need to threaten my opponent on a flank. They're not easy to kill. Your opponent has to dedicate something to take them out, which makes them a very versatile unit that allows you to push up and threaten your opponent early on in the game. Auto-take Infiltrator units. I think you need 2. And the reason why I like 2 Infiltrator units is they create these 2 bubbles on the field. You put one in obscuring terrain on the left, you put one in obscuring terrain on the right, and you keep them kind of closer to you, but you just create these big bubbles where reserves can't come in, the jump can't come in, redeployments can't come in. Your opponent has to respect the 12 inches from the Infiltrators. There's nothing that really gets around it well. So I think 2 units of Infiltrators, 3 units of Sanguinary Guard, and 1 Outrider bike is pretty much the start of your core. We only need an HQ. And the HQ that I like, because I know where I'm going with this list, so I would say it's more of, I'm getting more into the supplement now. I think you want to add a Librarian Dreadnought, because the second core I'm bringing to this army is going to be predominantly armor-based. With the tweaks to the way the game's played, I'm bringing in some armor now, and I would like to bring an HQ with armor, especially a Librarian Dreadnought. They're very strong. After that, I think I can go a multitude of different ways with both the remainder of the supplements and the Blood Angels, and now the additional army that I'm going to talk about. So what am I allying in with Blood Angels? Well, I'm going to be allying in Astra Militarum, or as I like to call them, Imperial Guard. With Imperial Guard, 3 tank commanders, all of them have Demolisher cannons, all of them have plasma cannon turrets. Obviously, these 3 tank commanders are all going to come in 1 detachment. Choose whatever detachment you want, but we're going to be upgrading some of these too. Now, there's a bunch of tank ace abilities that are really, really good for Leman Russes. Ignoring 1 damage on every single wound that gets dealt to it. -1 damage on a weapon is really, really... You have Master Mechanic, Weapons Expert, additional AP on your gun, Armored Rush, and Steel Commander, all very solid. 2+ to armor save, ability to move, advance, and fire. All of these things are really, really interesting. Think about how your army is going to play. 3 tank commanders with Demolisher cannons and plasma cannon turrets, they are very tough against the meta with Marines right now. They are very tough against vehicles. These demolisher cannons shooting twice at a target can be devastating, especially with strats. They get really, really, really good. So evaluate your Psychic Awakening, the greater good, evaluate tank ace abilities, and also check out those strats, because these 3 tank commanders are very powerful. When adding them to Sanguinary Guard, Infiltrators, and Outriders, you all of a sudden have this army where your opponent has a hard time closing the distance, and you are devastating on the rebuttal attack. I do think this is an army that does 2 things very well. It does assault very well, it does shooting very well. And it does it very much against the current meta of the game. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Dark Eldar, but I think this is even very strong against the brand new Nurgle book. So I would really consider taking a look at this. And maybe you have another idea. Maybe you take the core I gave you with the IG of the 3 tank commanders, but you mix it with something else. Maybe it's not Blood Angels for you. Maybe it's another army. I think Blood Angels are a very good fit. I think Sanguinary Guard in specific are a very good fit. The same weaponry that's going to kill Sanguinary Guard is the same weaponry that's going to kill the tank commanders, which is the same weaponry that you want against Outriders, which is the same weaponry you want against the Librarian Dreadnought. It's all, you're overwhelming a certain type of weapon your opponent should have brought to the tabletop. And depending on how much of that they have is going to dictate how well you do. And I think the Infiltrators just add a little bit bonus of keeping your opponent honest, keeping them away, and making sure reserves don't get in. So you want to play very reserved with those Infiltrators. You're not trying to get shots off with them. They're mainly hiding in obscuring terrain and creating the largest bubble they can possibly make on the board for as long as they possibly can. All right, guys, this video was a little different. Instead of going through a core of a particular faction, I took 2 cores of 2 different factions, put them together. If you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, or you'd like to see me do another army or another type of faction within these armies, let me know, and I could try to come up with what I think would be the best approach for those as well. Put it down in the comments. If you guys have played this list, played against this list, I'd love to hear how it went. Maybe I'm overestimating it. I've only had 1 game with this particular army. It went very, very well against a White Scars army, which was kind of weird, but I'd like to see what everyone else has played before as well. Thanks for joining in. If you guys enjoy these videos, please do like the video if you can. If you can subscribe to the channel, you'll also get notifications on when we have other videos. And take care, stay safe, and be healthy.